We got involved with Akai and the MPC outreach program. We met with the Akai guys up in Rhode Island one day, and Jack showed me what was just a sketch of the Renaissance, and it wasn't even called the Renaissance at the time. They didn't have a name yet. I was like super excited. I was really trying to hold myself back. I'm like, I'm in a meeting. Let me not be so excited. Let me try to put my poker face on, but I don't think it worked.
We started in New York, and we got some design ideas. We got some features that we needed to add to what we already came up with in the lab, and we took those design ideas to LA, and the reaction we got from the LA producers was even more design features and things that were left out. That cumulative stack of information we took to Atlanta, and then we got to Atlanta, it was more feedback and more input.
It was the first time that producers were able to put their input into something that they've used their whole careers. You know, I don't think any other company has done it in the way that Akai did it with, you know, what do you think of this exactly? What could make it better?
So it's like one brain adding to another brain to a point where we had to go back in, retool, redesign, and actually come up with new products. Normally the way the process works is a bunch of, you know, super genius engineers will go into a lab, they'll create a product, they'll tool it, build it, ship it, and then they send it out to the tastemakers who say this is wrong or that's wrong. We started with the tastemakers and we built a product that everyone could use collectively.
We sat with Premier, we sat with Marley Marl, we sat with KG, Salam Remy, Scram Jones, Static Selector, Drummer Boy, DJ Toomp, Jermaine Dupri. We even met with software-driven producers like Justice League, actually. That's a big deal. It's one of my favorite producing teams. Those guys made a lot of hit records. And everyone was pretty much excited. You know, people said what they thought they wish it could do. Since software is the big thing now, that's where a lot of the input from like the business and Chasing Cash and all those guys kind of brought up.
So after all the great feedback we got in Atlanta, we went over to the UK, and the UK producers had some amazing new ideas based on how they do their production.
Yeah. That's where we need to be. Yeah. See, now I have to have one of those.
In each session, we were able to grab more things to build into, and it came from just 1 unit to 2 to 3 units.
Niles from the Cataracts, he felt that it was, you know, his studio is wherever he is, so he moves around. So he wanted a piece that was more mobile. So we designed a case that's MPC pads that you slip an iPad in and boom, you're on the go. So that became the MPC Fly.
We're all looking at somebody's iPad, and the iPad actually had a case on it, and they kept flipping the case around, flipping it up, flipping it down, and we're thinking, really, what if we just put pads on the case? We have a case, we took a sheet of pads, just laid it on the case, and we're like, we took cell phone pictures of it. We texted them over to Paul and said, hey, Paul.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
In the studio, Salam's like, I'm always on a plane. I'm on a plane more than I'm on ground. I need something where, you know, I'm in first class with a lot of space. I can just, you know, whip it out of my laptop bag and create a beat. Most of the producers were won over because they've been waiting for this.
In the New York session, 88 Keys was just super amp after I called him. He was like, yo, can I bring Raw Dog? I was like, Raw Dog? What the hell is Raw Dog? He said, my MPC, my 3000. I was like, yeah, you can. I'm gonna make a beat right there, okay? I was like, all right, okay, cool. MPC guys are kind of really stubborn when it comes to their actual machine. He actually is one of the guys who was really 3000 head. Like he's one of those guys that's like, I'm not moving from the 3000. This is it. And he kind of got won over. Well, in all of the sessions that we had, we lined up every MPC that Kai had. When producers walked in the room, a lot of guys were kind of like overwhelmed, and a lot of them went to the one that they use mostly, you know, like, oh, this is my baby right here.
Yeah, these guys are like really obsessed with the brand.
So we got to go back to Atlanta and show
some of the producers that hadn't seen it, some that had seen it, and they got to see where it moved forward in development. Teddy Riley started banging the beat out on it. Jazzy Faye was in love with the way the pads had developed and what they had become from when he saw them before.
Nice.
You know, I think we kind of got it where it needs to be.
When you know you got a lot to like learn,
Yeah.
that's when you really want to mess with it.
Right,
You're
right.
curious of everything it do. Ha! 4 minute out.
It's got the little old school pad on it. That's how y'all feel?
Yeah.
One thing we've done is make the pads even more sensitive, I would say, than previous MPCs. They still have that feel. The geometry is exactly the same as previous MPC pads. But not only do you have that feel in the pad, we've incorporated lighting. So you're able to see a whole gradient of color that corresponds to the velocity of your pad tap.
A kid in the candy store,
That's
you
what
want
we
to bang
always
on
did.
something like
Yeah,
you want to
yeah,
keep
yeah.
hitting the keyboard and you miss it.
Yeah.
Trying to play a drum part, don't
Yeah.
y'all miss the key?
Yeah.
So we started out to build the perfect MPC, and then we realized that there's so many different tastes and styles of these producers that in order to satisfy them, we had to come with multiple compact versions.
MPC Studio, the MPC Renaissance, the MPC Fly, they'll all be used in different ways. You know, for me, I don't think I will like one better than the other. I'll use the MPC Studio when I'm traveling and the Fly when I'm traveling, or even if I'm just like, if I'm in the car, I may have the Fly with me if I'm waiting to pick up someone or just, you know, bang something out. And the Renaissance will be sitting in home base when I come back with ideas, and I can just incorporate all three, you know? They're gonna be like a whole family that works together and don't argue.